Happy Father's Day. If there was ever a time that we needed godly fathers, it's now. Our society is really sick today, but they're sick because we haven't had the kind of godly fathers that we needed to have in our society. Do you realize that 85% of all youths in prison are from fatherless homes? 80% of all rapists grew up without fathers. 75% of all adolescent chemical abuse patients in drug treatment centers are from fatherless homes. 71% of high school dropouts grew up without fathers or had abusive fathers. 63% of teen suicides grew up without fathers. You know, we need fathers, even though society tells us that fathers are not that important. What's important is mothers. You know, God bless you, Mom. You're important. But I'm going to tell you, the stats show that the need of godly fathers is more important than even the need of a godly mother. In Deuteronomy chapter 6, it tells you, Father, 3 things that God requires of you. Listen to this. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. These commandments that I give you today are to be upon your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home, when you walk along the road, when you lie down, and when you get up. As I look at this command to fathers, basically he's telling you 3 things. Love the Lord your God deeply. Number 2, know the truth clearly. And then number 3, guide your children diligently. You know what he's saying? You start off with yourself. Love the Lord your God with all your heart. Many times when a man grows up without really going to church, when he gets married and he has children, that's the first time he starts thinking, you know, in a world that's so bad, we need to maybe go to church for our kids' sake. Well, you know what? I'm glad you're bringing your family to church. But it's not for your kids' sake. It's for your sake first. See, you cannot expect your children to love God if you're not going to love God. So the first thing you have to do, sir, my dear friend, is you have to have a relationship with God yourself. Just like you pass your DNA to your kids, you're going to pass on Christianity to your kids when it is part of you. The second thing he says is know the truth clearly. Here he says, put these commandments on your heart. You know, so many men, they really don't understand the Christian faith deeply and clearly. They don't know how to answer questions like, Daddy, where did God come from? Why did Jesus have to come? You know, you can't even answer some of the basic questions. That's why it's important that theologically you get a grip of what the Christian message is all about and understand it. But the final thing he says is guide your children diligently. Notice in verse 7, impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home, when you walk along the road, and when you lie down and when you get up. Sooner or later, you have to explain and teach your children the word. I believe in devotion time, taking time, 15 minutes, 20 minutes every day, sit around and having your kids reading the scriptures. Lectionary scriptures are good to do it, where you have an organized way of reading. Have your kids read, comment on it. It'll take you maybe 15, 20 minutes to do that. Isn't it worth getting that word into your kids' heart? You let them spend 2-3 hours on games and on their phone and watching television. Why not 15, 20 minutes as you talk about the Word of God? But then talk about the Word as you're growing up. Talk to them about a movie you just saw and explain to them the Christian message or where the movie went against the Christian message. Talk about life. Talk about when you see a drunk start having a fight. Talk to your kids about alcohol. In other words, as life is taking place, you have opportune times to teach your kids the Word of God. Never before have we needed godly men in our day. And Malachi 3 says that God will turn the hearts of the fathers to the children and the children to their fathers, or else God will strike the land with the curse. And America's experiencing that curse with crime, violence, drug use, you name it, breakdown of the family. All of this is because men haven't taken their place. I urge you on this Father's Day that you be the godly father that your children need.